Axion for having me. Thank everybody for joining me. I know that this is definitely an interesting time for small business. We've gone through what seems like already several years just in the last few months. So it's definitely a difficult time for business, but it's also a lot of opportunity. And I just wanted to show my face before I jump into our slides, so you guys can get a sense of who I am and speak with you a little bit. Um, I'm wondering how many businesses are really freaked out by what's happening and feel that they don't have tools or resources or answers to go forward. I'm sure that our business was not the only business that was impacted. I'm sure your businesses were impacted as well. And we have a unique business in the sense that our business is built around helping other businesses. So when our business starts to feel the impact, we can't necessarily react to it in the same way. We have to dig deeper and start to find solutions to keep our businesses in business, because that is our ultimate goal for us, is helping businesses generate more business. And when COVID hit, at first we thought, okay, this is going to be a few months and we'll get through it. And at that time, we were supposed to give a presentation to the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership. Um, and we were really excited to do that, to give a lot of businesses the digital tools that they need and the knowledge so that they could go forward. And unfortunately, because of COVID, Riverside County shut down everything that we had planned, and obviously gatherings were not allowed. And so I'm really happy to be able to come back now, several months later, to give businesses the information that we have. Perhaps many of you have heard of digital marketing and think in terms of social media. I'm not going to really talk too much about social media. I'm going to talk about some things that are really going to drive people to come into your business, to buy your products and services, what you can do now, things that are more immediate, and what you can do as sort of a long-term strategy. So thank you once again for having me, and I look forward to speaking with you and answering your questions at the end. Please don't hesitate. I know that we're going to go through a lot of information, and some of this is going to be new to you. Don't worry about it. 30 minutes that I have right now is going to be pretty fast. So I'm going to kind of just flood you with a ton of info. I love being able to take a step back and walk everybody through to make sure that you understand it. So if there's words that I'm using that don't make sense, or a concept that I use that doesn't quite add up, let me know, and then I can slow down and always spend time with you individually to make sure that you do understand. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I will begin. Most of you probably have a website. If you don't, we can definitely talk about the value of doing that. I encourage everybody to have a website. The downside to the website right now is things are shifting so quickly on the consumer search side that oftentimes they're not even getting to your website. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have one, but I'm just going to try to show you some things that maybe a lot of other companies aren't showing you right now about how you can take advantage of the current time that we're in and the trends that we're seeing that ultimately can help you if you position your business properly. So some of the things that we should know about the World Wide Web: traffic equals money, right? We all understand that if people are coming to your website and they're looking for your product or they're looking for your service, ultimately the goal is that we capture them so that we can turn that into money for our businesses, right? That way we can feed our families, we can pay our bills, keep the lights on, keep the gas in the car. All that equates back to traffic equals money. So the number one goal for us and what we're presenting is, how do you generate more traffic, and how do you ultimately convert that traffic so that you have more revenue coming into your businesses. One of the greatest resources that we all have access to is Google. And I'm sure we've all used it, probably use it on a daily basis. Google has such a massive amount of data, but that data helps us know what to do and how to guide our clients. And so I'm going to walk you through some of those insights that we can gather from that and also some of the things that are available to you as well. How many of you have ever pulled up maps? So if we look at the geolocation feature alone, Google has the technology that can almost pinpoint you within a few feet from where you actually are. It's about at a military level of efficiency and accuracy. And so one of the things that we look at with geolocation is we all hold our phones in our hands, right? We all have one of these. And oftentimes when we're looking for things, we look at what's near us, or we'll type in the phrase near me, or we'll see that phrase near me. And that all comes down to the geolocation feature. One of the things that's gaining a lot of traction right now is Google My Business. We call this GMB for short, Google My Business. It's gaining value while a website is essentially losing value. Now, again, I'm going to explain later why that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't have a website, but what that means in the world of search. Many of you may not even have your Google My Business set up yet. It is free. So this is why I'm trying to cover this today, because I'm trying to give you very solid resources that don't necessarily have to cost you money or very little money to put in place to begin doing your marketing and attracting those people that are searching. Google My Business, if you don't have that set up, definitely happy to walk you through what to do and how to do that. After our call, just reach out to me individually and we'll be glad to spend a little bit of time with you. So with Google My Business versus websites, it will link into how they ultimately come together and help each other. But right now we're going to focus on the Google My Business part, because that's the first point of contact where somebody hits the web and they start to do a search for hairdresser or yoga studio, or they're maybe looking for a real estate agent, or like I was the other day, I need a mechanic, right? And so you start to look for these things and near me. So real quick, a little bit about me. Who am I? Why should you care? Who is Rook Seo? So I'm the Vice President of Business Development for Rook Seo. They were a company that I actually used for some of my businesses and still continually do, but now I'm doing it as a partner. So I partnered with Rook almost 5 years ago. I'm a professor and an entrepreneur. I'm also happen to be an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker and a very proud and awesome uncle to several nieces and nephews. Paul Gonzalez is my partner in Rook, and he specializes on local. He's not here because he's with his lovely family. Otherwise, he'd also be presenting. So any of you that are out there that need presentation or information or instructions in Spanish, Paul is fantastic. He's fluent in Spanish and always happy to help, and has an absolute expertise in helping small businesses. Paul's expertise goes back probably about 20 years, and he really is what we call in our office, he is the head efficient nerd of all things that relate to Google My Business. So Paul sends his regards and says absolutely reach out to him, and I'll give you his information just in case you need that as well. So when we look at of all the options that you have available to you, what do you do? Do you do Facebook? Do you do Instagram? Are you going to do YouTube? All those are yes, but what one is going to absolutely drive more traffic and more sales to you? There is a new term called no-click searches. So oftentimes we all know about clicking, right? So if we click, that's basically something on a hyperlink that we're looking for, and we say, I'm interested in that, click here. Well, the no-click searches, what's happening is we get the information more so through the Google search immediately on our phones, right? So as soon as you type in on your phone, whatever it is you're looking for, you'll see a map section pop up, right? And then that gives you an option to call, visit a website, or get directions. So that's what we're referring to when we say no click. So you go to Google, you find something that you're looking for, and you never even get to the website. You're just getting directly to the business. So when we look at the statistics on this, across all Google searches, we're seeing that the organic, which we say is natural traffic, right? And so as a search engine optimization company, we focus primarily on that organic traffic. And we're seeing almost 53% of that traffic is coming naturally, just from natural searches. From paid search, that's when you pay for ads. obviously you see a much smaller percentage of the traffic coming in, right? So that's a click-through rate. The CTR is what that stands for, is click-through rate, right? And then we see the no-click searches almost equal to organic. And we're pretty positive as we study these things that in the next few years, probably the next 2 to 3 years, no-click searches are going to become more and more prominent. So if we see 15 organic clicks per every page search, what we're seeing now is for every 10 organic clicks, 8.8 of those searches are 0 clicks. So it's a pretty good bet to put your time and resources and energy into creating your Google My Business listing and optimizing that. So when we look at statistics, we often want to look at and so you can also confirm this. So Rand Fiskin, somebody that you write down that name and look up, always has a ton of information. And so we like to just kind of back up what we're saying. So he says that there's a whopping 47% of the traffic is basically coming from no searches. So how does this impact you? Well, what we're all trying to avoid is not having a business that closes. If our business closes, obviously it's drastic. It's really hard for us to open back up again, to get the momentum, to get our employees, to get staffed. All the things that we know in the back of our head that we're trying to fight against is that business closing. And what we're here to do today is hopefully help prevent that and give you some valuable insight and some tools that aren't necessarily going to cost you a lot of money to get started. So when we look at the mobile search traffic, right, we know that what's being done right now on mobile devices is only going up. So over 60%. If we look at 70+% of mobile searches are the no-click research results. And then we're having 70% of mobile users that will click to call, right? So that happens on your phone, right? If you're clicking, you're going to say, you know what? I want to go to this business or I'm interested about it. I just click and I'm just going to call and get the information. So I'm not going to that website. So that step is really important. So this is something you'll see, for example, this is, if I was looking for a dentist in Denver, right? What's going to happen is we'll see an ad first, an ad, then we're going to see more ads, and then we'll see dentist, right? Or this could be mechanic, or it could be hair salon, or it could be yoga studios, be any number of whatever your category is. And then you'll start to see an ad, and then you'll see the other listings, right? And what we're going to notice here is you'll have the business name, and then you're going to have this little 4.7 rating, and you'll see stars, and then you'll see a number next to that. What do they do? Cosmetic dentistry. Where are they located? They're open. Now, of course, because of COVID, we get different classifications. Maybe it might be dine in, dine out, curbside only, delivery. So you can have various classifications in here as well. And ultimately, you have the option to call. Now, the way this has been set up, these dentists want you to call, right? So it's not so much about getting a map or going to their website. They literally are trying to use the Google My Business to get people who are interested to call. And that way, if they get them on the phone, they can have a conversation about what they need, right? And so when we see something like a 4.9 and you see 421 and then you see a 4.7 at 57, what this indicates is these are the number of reviews that people are giving on that business. And what we do know about behavior, and even on our own behavior, right, is that you're going to trust a business based on reviews. If all these people say that they're doing a great job, chances are that this business probably is doing a great job. Now, nobody expects anybody to be perfect, so 5.0 generally is not the best thing. Google also monitors for that. So they see a business that has 5,000 reviews and then they're still a perfect 5.0. No one's perfect. Google knows that, so they know that their reviews are not reliable. So they actually will suppress that down in the rankings. So please make sure that you're staying honest with your reviews. You can always reach out to businesses or individuals that might have a negative review. It gives you an opportunity to also have a conversation with them. One of the terms in our industry is we refer to as the Google Maps. And that's what I just showed you, is kind of that 3-pack is what we refer to it as the most valuable real estate that we can find on the internet. And those three businesses that are in there are usually vetted by Google because of those reviews. They look at them and say, oh, okay, this business in this area has some of the best reviews, and they'll usually post the three best businesses. So showing up in that little area is really, really valuable. Why? Because it helps you get into the top slots, right? So if we look at the consumer trust factor, right now, consumers, what they trust even more than your website is this Google Maps pack. Why is that? Because immediately you're able to see all the reviews on a business. Now, sometimes if you're getting started, you're not going to have that many reviews, right? But even with you, if you had like say 10 or 11 reviews, those are 10 or 11 people that are not connected or affiliated with your business that are speaking about it. So when I show up or one of your customers potentially shows up and they see these reviews, they can read them and feel really comfortable about that. So right now, the research is showing about 60% of the searches think that the local pack has the most trustworthy results. And then if we get to paid ads, we've all seen the ads, we just go, no, we're not going to go through those ads. And then the paid results, because you can pay to play, it's not as trusted. And so what happens is if you pay, you might get some results, but they're not going to be as great as even your website alone. But ultimately, the best way to attract more clients is through the Google map sections or the map 3-pack. So if we look at 76% of people who do a local search, they end up contacting a local business within 24 hours. Why is this important? And I know some of this information might seem kind of dry and not so exciting, right? And I wish there were a way to make it a little bit more exciting. The best way we can look at our data is to say, how is this going to relate to my business? So many times I hear businesses say, oh, everybody's going online, everybody's ordering through Amazon. Well, a lot of people are ordering through Amazon. I order through Amazon, but it doesn't mean that I'm not using my local businesses or I'm not searching for products that might be available in a local business. And I think, if anything, the trend for people wanting to support local business, especially now during this time of COVID, where our communities have become so much more than what they were before. We realize as a business community and the communities where we live, we must support each other. Like that's the only way we're going to get through some very, very difficult times. So when we look at what the Google data is showing us, 76% of the people who search locally, within 24 hours, they're looking for a business. So they want to go ahead and find the product that they're looking for. And if they do, within 24 hours, they're calling a business or they're going in to see that business to make a purchase. So that's really great news when we think that the whole world has just gone to Amazon or everybody's just going to go to Walmart. That's just not the case. So the big question is we have to look at is, are you ranking in the 3-packs? And are you ranking all over your city? So for some of you that might already be in the 3-pack, are you covering your whole city? In some senses, like if we have, say, the Coachella Valley, right? And we have, 500,000 people, it takes us basically an hour to go from one end of the valley to the other end. If you look at San Diego or Long Beach or any of the other areas where we're at, it can take you, 20, 30 minutes to get from one side of the city to the other. So we want to always test to see, are we coming up for our product and services across the city? Or are we only coming up locally where we're searching? And if you're coming up, that's great. If you're not coming up all over the city, there's things we can do to fix that. We'll definitely want to fix that because that means you're going to attract more potential customers. So one of the great things that you can do with your Google My Business is having a click to call. And like I expressed earlier with the dentist in that example, if I need a mechanic and I'm looking for a mechanic and I'm not really sure about what I need, I just know my car's making some noises it shouldn't be making. I have a lot of anxiety about that, and I want to be able to talk to somebody and get some answers quickly, right? So being able to just call somebody quick, fantastic. If I'm looking to see whether or not a salon is open, or if I can visit them and we have to go outside, or if it's a barber, or even if it's say it's an online jeweler, right? So if it's an online jeweler, and even though we're in COVID times, I may still want to buy a ring, or I may still be planning on getting engaged. I still have questions that I need answered, and I might not be able to physically go into a place, but I can see on a website what products they might have and have a conversation based on what my needs and what my desires are. So having that click to call is really imperative to take advantage of the opportunity more than anything, to reach out and talk to your potential customers. So I think, with today's learning style, we are accustomed to going to Google, and we always look for here's the answer somewhere in Google, right? And so our customers do the same thing. They're just like us. So if we look at the value of Google My Business, this is essentially where almost half of the traffic for search is built around Google My Business. So the potential buyers are going to a Google property, right? The Google My Business, and they're not going to your website. Now, that doesn't mean, once again, that you shouldn't have a website. It just means that this is an extra step that you want to add, because they're not necessarily going to go to your Facebook and start looking for things. They will, right, once they're familiar with you. But initially, all that's happening is somebody has a desire for a product or service. Are you going to be the company that they find when they search for that? And if you're not where they're searching, they will not find you. So I think what Google My Business has been worth to many of our businesses is pretty incredible. One of the big keys to success for small businesses is really built around what can be done with Google My Business, is making sure that you maximize all the real estate you can possibly get on the internet. But with that in mind, it's the most valuable. And we definitely want to make sure every business that's here today is going to be able to take advantage of a free tool and a very valuable tool that's driving almost 50% of the search traffic. Well, how does it work? Well, proximity, right? We've all seen if we pull up on a map, we get the little 3-pack, and it'll start to say, restaurants near me, or we'll say, salons near me, or barber near me, or mechanic near me, and you'll have a little mile, like 1.4 miles or 2.7 miles away. So it focuses going back to the geolocation aspect of Google. They're trying to pinpoint where you are, and they're saying, most likely when you search, we believe that you're searching for something that is local. And that base is on proximity. Where are you? So if you're within a range, if I'm looking for a mechanic and I'm in Indio, California, it probably is not going to try to give me results that are in Pico Rivera, California, right? It's not going to pull up something in Long Beach if I'm in India. All right. Now, in other situations, if you might have a specialty business or a specialty product that doesn't have a lot of competition, then it might pull you up, even though the proximity is really far away, because the competition is not existent. So we can get into some of those specific areas again, if you guys reach out, and I'm happy to help you through that. So one of the biggest things we can do is reviews. Well, how do you get reviews? You have to ask your customers, right? But what's the easiest way to get a review? Well, once they come into your business, or once they engage in your product, say, hey, what we'd really appreciate if you enjoy your service with us, can you please take a couple minutes right now and just go to Google and fill out a review for us? And many times what will happen is businesses will say, hey, please write a review for us. And people go, yeah, okay, I will. And it's not that they don't want to, but as soon as they get to their car, or as soon as they get back home, kids are going crazy. Their wife, husband needs something, phone's ringing, they need to take out laundry, they need to get things done. So they just forget. It's not because they want to do it. So it's really important when you ask for that review, ask in that moment and say, please just take a couple minutes now to do this, because it really matters to our business and helping small business. And I think most businesses have their customers that are supportive of them. And during this time, more than any time, if you reach out to them and say, please help us, they will definitely do it. Okay, just have to remind yourself and your staff to ask constantly for those reviews, and not just ask for a review, but ask them if they can fill it out right now. All right, so over 80% of the searchers trust reviews, and it's just as equal as a personal recommendation from a family or member or friend, then again, the value of those reviews are critical to your business. And it's not something that's going to cost you any money. It's going to cost you a little bit of time. And maybe you've got to get over a little bit of a shyness to just ask for what you need. Ask them for that review, because it matters a lot to our businesses. Right. And I think right now, if we can all find ways to not spend money and generate more sales, it's better for all of us. So if consumers will spend up to 31% more where the businesses, they are actually leaving reviews, that's also another way that you can look at it, because you have customer loyalty, right? And so then you'll be able to know those that have left reviews, create a way for you to reach out if you have specials, if you want to give them some sort of promotional offer, you have more information on them as well. All right, and knowing that 89% of those local searches result in a purchase within a week. All right, so when we look at who would you choose, like I said, if we have all of these 4.8 star ratings, and you have 435, or you have somebody that is 3.5 and 14, well, you're probably going to go with the one that has more reviews, because it's a little bit more qualified, right, than the other. But since these come up in the 3-pack, definitely a good idea to research each one of those. Okay, so now what do? Claim your listing. If you haven't, then please do. If you have, great. If you have a listing, has it been optimized? If it's not been optimized, then let us know so we can reach out and we can help you. All right. And then coming back to your website, why do you even need a website now? Is search engine optimization for your website worthless? Well, no. And one of the things that's happening is Google is actually looking at, okay, here you have a Google My Business profile, and on the other side, you have a website. What helps the profile is also looking at your website. Are you about what you're about? Is your website serious and representing your business in a way that Google says, oh, okay, I get, this is a mechanic shop and they're very good at working on Hondas and Toyotas, or they might be specialists in BMWs and Mercedes, or whatever the case might be. So the optimization side and getting Google My Business to actually rank is also connected to having a good website that's also ranking. So why is this all happening? Well, because Google ultimately wants you to spend more time on their assets, because they're going to be making money off of ads and they want you to see ads. So this is a way that we can play within that system and ultimately use it to our advantage as small businesses to help drive in more business. So I know that this is not necessarily the most exciting topic. I tried to keep it as basic as I can so that everyone has an ability to grasp it. But ultimately, if you understand that everyone's going to use their phone to find your business, they're going to look for your service or your product, and they're going to go to the internet, and they're most likely going to use Google. We need to make sure that your business is where they're looking. And if they're not, we need to help you solve that problem so that you're not missing out on potential sales. All right. So I want to take a few minutes just to kind of answer any questions that might exist. I think if we can look at the chat box, I want to provide a little bit of time, and hopefully you guys find some value in that, and knowing that this is a really valuable resource. It's free to you. While it can be a little bit cumbersome, it can be a little bit complicated, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will absolutely walk you through and take the time that's necessary to help you get this set up. And if that's all you can do in this point in time, then you're going to do quite a bit to help your businesses stay in business.
That's great. So if anyone has questions, they can put it in the chat box, which is at the bottom of the screen. While we're waiting on that, I have a question. And I've heard this from a lot of our businesses. What about bad reviews? How do you recommend that people, when they get a bad review or maybe a review that doesn't reflect the best on their business, how do you recommend people react to those and handle those types of reviews?
Well, what you don't want to do is just engage in conflict and say, no, you're wrong. Like you came in and you were totally out of line and never come back to our business again, right? Um, we've all had difficult clients. We've all had difficult customers. Sometimes we're the ones that have had a bad day in our business, right? We were really super busy. We had to juggle a lot of things that were going on, and maybe we didn't give enough attention to that customer that we needed to, or they perceived it to be in a different way. So we've all had off days, and more often than not, if you see a bad review and you address it and you say, I'm so sorry that you had this bad experience with our company or with our product. Please let us know what we can do. Here's, direct email. Please reach out to us, and we'd love to make it right. So
That's
what
great.
happens is when other people are reviewing, they're not only just seeing the reviews of what's so great about your company, but the bad opportunity that might arise, right, with a bad review, that opportunity gets to show potential customers how you deal with things when something goes wrong, right? We've all been sold on everything is perfect and the world is great, but then you can't get somebody to pick up the phone to solve a customer service problem for you, right? So use that as an opportunity to also show how do you actually do business and how do you treat your customers. Whether it's a great experience or a poor experience, you have that opportunity.
That makes sense. And then another question from the chat. When should they set up those Google pages? Should someone says I shouldn't set one up until my business has launched, or should they do that as they're launching their business? Should they wait until they have a few customers? What do you think?
I would say that, if you're not in business, then you can't set that up because somebody's going to call you about your business, right? And this is something that you can get set up, within a day. Like it's an easy process. It's not going to take you, 10 hours to do this. It's literally just go step by step. And when you're ready to be engaged in business, then absolutely get Google My Business ready to go.
And then what about people who don't necessarily have a storefront? Maybe they have an area that they serve, like a mobile dog groomer or something like that. Would they be able to set up a page like this? And what are your recommendations for somebody that has a business like that, that maybe is more home-based or has an area that they serve?
Yep, absolutely. So especially now, we're primarily all based at home, right? And so one of the differentiators of that, if you don't have a brick and mortar business, and you're a home based business, you may just want to make sure that you're comfortable listing your home address because it will again go to that geolocator, right? And you can also list it as a home based business. What you also can do is say that you are a business and not list the address, but it also will affect that search because you're not coming up in proximity. So you're going to end up with a general kind of centralized center of the city search result. Okay. And then one thing to also mention, oftentimes as small businesses and home-based businesses, we might have businesses that set up with UPS or a mailbox, etc., or something like that. Don't list that as your business address. Even though it's a business mailing address, Google looks at that like you're lying, like you're going to trick customers by telling them that that's where you actually are doing business. So there's a category that basically just says this is a business mailing address versus your business address.
That makes sense.
And again, if
And then
anyone
what?
gets
Oh, go
confused,
ahead.
yeah, and if anyone gets confused with that, because it's really important, if Google sees that you've listed a place like that as your business, they literally have physical auditors that go out, and if they see that there's more than a few businesses that have the same address, they're wondering what's going on here. They send somebody physically out to investigate what's happening. So again, we're happy to walk you through that so you don't make that mistake.
Hmm. And then what about some of the other review sites? Like there's a lot of review sites that are specifically for restaurants, or Yelp is a very popular one. And sometimes businesses can appear on multiple sites. So do you recommend that businesses focus maybe on one or two, or do you have any tools that you could recommend to manage, when your business might appear on all these different types of review sites?
Yes. So always use Google. At least if you're going to do no other platform, use Google. And the reason why we say that, because over 75% of the internet traffic is coming through Google, right? And when you set up your Google profile, one, it's free and you can control those reviews. And those reviews are what drive ultimately how you appear in maps. So say somebody else might have Yelp. It's not that it's bad, because there's a lot of people that are going to Yelp to get reviews, or it might be some other review site. But those reviews aren't necessarily driving your Google My Business Maps listing. So if you're only going to do one, definitely do Google. If you're going to do more than one, it's not going to hurt you. It helps you, but not in a direct way as it relates to where your placement is with Google My Maps listing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, if anyone has any more questions, and I think Rich is going to stick around until the end, you can put them in the chat box and we'll ask them at the end of the presentation. And then I did want to also mention, for people who might have joined a little bit late, we are recording this and we'll send it out tomorrow morning at the latest. So you will get a copy of this presentation. We're also live streaming it on Facebook. If you know anyone or want to share on your page, it's at our Facebook page at Axion Serving Southern California. So thank you so much, Rich. That was a really wonderful presentation. So next up, we have two representatives from our wonderful sponsors, Pacific Premier Bank, and they're going to talk about something really important: ways that you can maximize your online banking, prevent fraud, and automate some of your different business banking activities. So I'm so pleased to introduce Juan Diaz, the VP and team lead of Senior Treasury Management Sales Consultant, and Irvin Garcia, the AVP and Treasury Management Associate at Pacific Premier Bank. So welcome, guys. Oh, I think you might be on mute. Can we hear you? Can you hear us? Oh, did we get you? And then Rich, too, if you could unshare your screen. And then can we hear one? Okay, we're still working it out. Okay, we see your screen, but I don't know if we can hear you. You might want to call in, or we can have Larissa present, and then you can go after her. Oh, can we hear you, Juan? No, I'm sorry. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Why don't we have you unshare your screen, and then we'll have Larissa present, and then we can have Juan go after Larissa.
Okay, hello everyone. Technical difficulties. No worries.
Sorry about that.
So let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see my presentation. All right. So today I'll be presenting about financing your business. Once again, my name is Larissa Diaz. I'm the Business Development Officer here at Axion. I joined Axion about 4 years ago, servicing the Imperial Valley, and last year my territory did get extended to Coachella Valley. It kept me pretty busy, and I am missing going out to Coachella Valley and being out and here in the Imperial Valley as well, meeting clients. But due to circumstances, we're currently working from home, but it's the same great service like we always give every single client of ours. I participate in a lot of community and business educational events, and I pretty much share my knowledge and my financing experience with all of my clients. I have also been in the finance industry for over 8 years. So before Axion, I would work for a credit union. So I really pretty much the mission with Axion and the credit union pretty much relates to my purpose here at Axion, that is serving the community and helping everyone that I can in order to get them to the next level. And well, I also work directly with clients, accessing their needs and guiding them through the loan process. Pretty much, if you want to apply for a loan, I'll be there from the start to the end, helping you get that loan with Axion. With Axion, we're a 501c3. We're a nonprofit micro lender. We've been in San Diego for more than 25 years. We serve the areas of Imperial Valley, Riverside, San Diego, and San Bernardino counties. We do a lot of educational resources and technical assistance with our clients. So if you want to start a business, but you don't know how to do it, we're here to help you out and send you to resources that can help you for free to get you to that next level. If you want to learn more about what we do, of course, you can go to us.axion.org. And with Axion, our mission is to provide economic opportunity for low to moderate income business owners who lack access to traditional source of credit. Sorry about that. If you are watching us and you don't live in the areas that we serve, no worries. As long as you find a CDFI, which is a community development financial institution, and basically they're a private financing institution that are 100% dedicated to delivering responsible, affordable lending. If you do find a CDFI in your area, I recommend you go with them and you ask them about the loans that they have for your small business. If you're located outside of Axion area in Southern California, you can connect with the CDFI in your area, which we did add Venturize from Small Business Majority. So if you guys click there, it can help you out to locate a CDFI near you. And the CDFI locator from Opportunity Financing Network, you can also go to that one as well, and you'll be able to find a CDFI that's near your area. Right now, we're offering the COVID-19 relief. The COVID-19 relief efforts. Axion is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering entrepreneurs by, of course, providing business support and access to business loans. Our mission is to provide economic opportunity for primary low to moderate income business owners who lack access to traditional source of credit, which I can give you more information right now through the presentation of what do we mean by this. We're currently offer COVID-19 relief business loans up to $50,000 in addition to a regular loan program, which our loans go up to $100,000. We're offering a rate as low as 3.99%, and the loan product to business in San Bernardino, Riverside, and Imperial County. But once again, if you're watching from San Diego, we're also offering loans in the San Diego area for the COVID-19 relief loan. Also, don't forget to visit our website at socal.axion.org/loans, where you can find the application there, or you can also call me and I'll connect you to the business development officer that's near your area to guide you in the application process. The COVID-19 relief loan, it's a term loan. This loan goes from $5,500 to $50,000 to use for working capital. You can use the loan from covering your rent, your utilities, your payroll, the insurance that you need to pay for your business, or any other business needs due to adverse COVID-19 business impact. The low interest rate, like I said, it is as low as 1% up to 3.99%. This is such a great deal for people who are currently seeking for capital and they already got a grant, but they need more money or they just can't get a grant. This is a great opportunity. The term does go from 36 to 60 months, including the first 6 months. You won't believe this, but the first 6 months, you will not have a payment. And trust me, there's no catch on this. There's no collateral required and no administrative or filing fees. The state guarantee fee will roll into loan principal. So the state warranty does have a fee, but it will roll into the loan principal. No out-of-pocket cost, and we fund you as fast as in 2 weeks after all the required documents are submitted, and no prepayment penalties. And I've worked on this process right now in gathering the documents and from square one to the end. And the documents that we ask for are very minimal. And we make it so easy for you to do everything electronically in the comfort of your home or your office. Everything is really just through pretty much a computer. You send documents. And if you don't know how to do that, no worries, because we have other people that can help you out and mentor you in that process. Who qualifies? That's a really good question that I get all the time. Who qualifies for these type of loans? The new applicants, they must have less than 50 employees, be in business prior to August 1st of 2019, and be receiving steady income. That's a business, a job, or spousal income. We understand how hard it is right now for businesses. I mean, they're not getting the income that they were getting before COVID, and that's understandable. And also, if you say, hey, well, my spouse, she can co-sign for me, but she's not in the business, that's totally okay. She can totally come into the application and just co-sign you, and she doesn't, or he doesn't have to be part of the business. You need to have a minimum credit score of 580 and have no bankruptcy within the last 12 months. Not have any predatory business loans with daily or weekly payments, and show the ability to make payments on the loan. For some reason that I've been working with a lot of clients, I've been seeing that when we pull credit, many people got deferments either on their student loans, their home loans, or their car loans, and they're showing as late, right? But I've been working with clients and they call, they get it fixed, and we're able to go with the application. So if this is something that you've done for your business, for your personal expenses, if you've gotten deferments, I really suggest for you to, casually just going into your credit report and just making sure that they're not marking you as late. Because although maybe you may not need a loan right now, later, if you do need a loan, some agencies are showing you as late. So that's pretty much something that hopefully you guys can look into and just keep track of that. What will we ask for? We do ask for an online application, which is totally free. We ask for a driver's license. This is the documentation that I'm talking about that's super minimal. So we do need your driver's license or a passport. We need 3 months of bank statements, personal and business accounts. We know some people don't have time to be getting their statements and everything. So we use a private server that we can retrieve the statements for you, which has made it pretty easy for a lot of business owners. And you just pretty much log in, we retrieve the bank statements, and you don't have to worry about it. We do ask for the most recent personal tax returns, which is obviously a 2019, but if you don't have 2019, it's okay. We can use a 2018. And then the business tax returns plus the 2019 financial statement. So let's say you don't have the 2019 tax returns, but you have the 2018, then we only ask for you to show us a 2019 financial statements. And if you don't know how to do that, no worries, because we have other resources that can help you out for free to do that part of the homework. I usually call it homework. And then we share thoughts on plan to recover from COVID-19 impacts. So we send you like a little questionnaire that you just have to pretty much explain to us what's your plan. And we ask for the first page of business account statements for account verification to transfer loan funds if approved. So like I said, everything's electronic. So if you do get approved, you sign paperwork electronically, and we'll pretty much send you the funds to your account within 1 day, or if it's before 3 p.m., you'll get it the next day. Startup and expanding loans. These are for our traditional loans. So if you are someone who's starting to start a business from fresh, you can totally apply for our traditional loans. Their terms go from $300,000 to $100,000. The rate is from 6.99 to 18.99%. And we base it off on overall strength. There's no prepayment penalties, fully amortized, simple interest, and we do give a 1% discount for veterans, active duty, and no application fee. Some people sometimes are like, oh, 6.99%. But you know what? As a business startup, a bank is not going to give you a loan. So you need to build a report, and we're here to help you build that report. And that way you can be bankable. You can go to your banks and get a better loan with a better interest rate. Banks are our friends. So we're totally for sending people to get better rates and pretty much go to their bank. Or sometimes it could be that business owners don't need that much money. Like they just need $500 for their business. We're here to help you out. The terms, they go from 12 to 72 months, and the cost charge, we do a charge only at closing. For $5,000 and under, we do charge a max of $95 on average. From $5,000 and up, we do the up to 6% of loan amount, and we do $100 off for veterans and active duty. The funding does take place from 1 to 2 weeks after all documents are submitted. So I always really encourage my clients, like I always set them up a timeline and say, when do you need this loan? And they tell me, you know what, I need this loan exactly in 2 weeks. So I tell them, okay, 2 weeks, you need to have all documents by tomorrow. And then we set up timelines. But this timeline is, you have the power for this timeline. It's just as fast as we get the documents from you. How we evaluate your loan request. This pretty much serves for a lot of lenders, not only us. This is something that other lenders look for. So like I said, if you're not in the area, these are some points to think about, because this is what they look at. When you go to a bank, to a CDFI, when you come to us, this is what we look at. The character, the credit. For us, we don't need a minimum credit score. If you had prior challenges of like let's say bankruptcy, that's fine. But you must be current when applying. So if you had some hiccups in the last 12 months, and in a year and a half, you're like, I brought everything back on track, we're here to give you that second chance. The capacity to serving debt is we do the global cash flow analysis. Basically, we don't solely go into what you make in your business. We try to see money from elsewhere. I mean, if you have a job, if you have a spouse that brings more income, we do look at that. We do need a collateral for the UCC-1 file. Well, the collateral is the UCC-1 filed on business assets. The paid off vehicle value at 30% loan amount to loans over 50K. Not required for loans under 50K, but maybe requested with no minimum or value. For the collateral, it could be a vehicle, a boat, a motorcycle, a trailer that's fully paid off. Those are the only things that we can take as collateral personally. That's fully paid off, and you have the title to that. Sometimes people, they're like, I just don't have anything paid off. So we start asking, like, do you have a spouse that has anything that's fully paid off, or a grandma, your dad, your mom? And we can take collateral from other people's that have already paid off their vehicle, their trailer, their motorcycle, or their RV. We can totally take the title from someone else, and they don't have to apply for the business loan. The COBAR may be requested to add strength and does not need to be an owner of the business. The capital, no minimum capital injection required for startups, and the savings, retirement and brokerage accounts may strengthen the deal. So let's say if you have any source of retirement accounts, and you want to show your balance and show us how much money you have, this can bring strength to your loan. The conditions. Of course, we need to know the purpose of the loan and business must make sense under the current economic conditions of COVID-19. So before, we could do almost any industry, not all industries, but mostly any. But this time around, we just want to make sure that the business does make sense under the current economic conditions. This is on the how to apply. You can most definitely go to our website, socal.axion.org, or you can do our Spanish website as well. But for best advice on the products, I usually just like to talk to my clients beforehand, just so I can screen them and tell them which product is best for them. So if you do want to call me, you can most definitely call me at 760-223-9394, or you can also contact me through email, which my email is L as in Larissa, my first name, Urias at accionsandiego.org. And here's these are other resources that we have, where to go for other help. For the request of business counselor from the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, they do assistance on completing grants applications, the PPP forgiveness program, the strategic planning for recovery and growth, business purchase and valuation, marketing in difficult times, brainstorming sessions, and other sources of funds. The SBDC, they have one, pretty much in El Centro, Imperial Valley, Riverside, and the San Diego area. You can also request a mentor from SCORE. They do the business valuation as well, the startup business planning, marketing, strategy, brainstorm business ideas. They do not have one here in the Imperial Valley, unfortunately, but they do have them in the areas of San Diego and Riverside as well. And of course, the Women's Business Center, that center is for women's only, and they do many of the things that the SBDC and the SCORE office do as well. And you can always go to your local chamber of commerce, like here personally, Imperial Valley and Riverside, where I serve. They're like my best friends. I go to them for everything. And for more resources, you can also click for the grant opportunities and other resources that basically Suzanne, our marketing director, always has it up to date. So if you guys visit this website for resources, you guys will always find the freshest information on that website. Thank you so much for everyone who's attending, who's watching us through Zoom and also Facebook. Like Suzanne said, this presentation will be recorded and you guys will be able to see it on a later time. You can most definitely contact me at lodias@accionsandiego.org, or my phone number is 760-223-9394. Thank you so much again for taking your time. I know your time is precious, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Larissa. So if anyone has any questions about Axion, our COVID relief program, our regular program, please feel free to put them in the chat. We did get a program we actually have a program called the Axion Academy. It's a 10-week training program for people who just want to start or grow their business. And we do it twice a year. So we do it once in the spring in English and once in the fall in Spanish. So we're actually wrapping up the Spanish one right now. So for the English one, and I'll put it in the chat for the person who asked, it's axionacademy.org, and it's going to happen next year. So there's actually an interest list form that you can fill out on that site, where you can put in your information and we'll email you when the application opens. So the next session is probably going to be late spring 2021. And then Larissa, actually I have a couple questions for you. And I wanted to check also, Juan, is your audio working?
Can you guys hear us now?
Yes, we can't see you anymore, but we can hear you, which is really exciting. Okay,
there we go.
Just a couple of questions for Larissa, and then we will speak with Juan. Larissa, tell us about how to connect with a business development officer in Axion service area, and what does that look like? What are the first conversations like?
Well, like I said, right now, the first point of contact, if you guys like, you guys can call me and I'll connect you guys to the best business development officer. You'll call your business development officer we'll pretty much screen you in the questions like, are you a startup? Are you an expanding business? We pretty much like to know your story. What's your plan? What are you looking for? How much are you looking for? And we do screenshot. We do a little quote for you for the rate. So we do ask you like, what's your income now? How much debt do you have? Do you have any collateral? And we do like just a little screen on you, and we give you an interest rate, which can totally change when we go to underwriting, because I mean, these are just rough numbers, and we just pretty much put you in the best product. We currently have 3 products right now, which is the COVID relief loan. That one's the one from 1% to the 3.99%. We have the full underwritten loan, which is the 6.99% to 18.99%. And we also offer a rapid loan. And that rapid loan does go as low as $500 up to $8,000. And this loan, the rapid loan, we can totally close that deal in 2 days. And you'll have your funds in 2 days. So like I said, we would love to speak to you first before you apply, because then we'll know which product will be the best product for you.
Perfect. And just to clarify too, the COVID relief loan is a flat either 1% if you live in San Diego County, 3.99 if you live in the other counties. There's no range for that one. The other one, which is for expanding businesses, startup businesses, non-COVID needs, that's the range.
Yes, and that's the range from 6.99 to 18.99. But of course, like, who's not having a hardship right now? Like, who is not in business right now? And not like everyone's having a hardship. I mean, the restaurants, I mean, even if you worked for marketing, like, I'm sure like a lot of businesses are closing. So maybe your business is not as how it used to be before, or some people they're super tight on budget, so they can't have expenses elsewhere, you know. So everyone must be having some type of hardship. So we will make sure that if you can benefit from our COVID-19 relief, from the 1% to the 3.99%, we're going to get you on that loan, you know. But like I said, there's nothing hidden on this. It's so transparent. You get that rate the first 6 months, no payment. And I mean, you can pay it off and we're not going to penalize you for that. So that's the beauty of any of our deals. If you get a loan, a $20,000 loan, and in a year, you want to pay those $20,000 off, we're only going to charge you interest for the time that you had your loan with us. So
that's great. And then just a last question, since we are talking about the new normal, the digital future, whatever someone wants to call it, the state we're currently living in, what are some examples that people could use funding for to bring their business into the digital future? Could someone, for example, buy, new credit card processing machines? Could maybe they had just a normal website before and they want to add online sales? What are some kind of digital examples that people could use some of the funding for?
Yeah, so we have a lot of clients who they've never really done a lot of digital because everything was in person now. And now it's not that, the problem is not that they're open to public, but the problem is that the people are scared maybe to go out. So I have a lot of clients who are investing this money in pretty much, it's time to redo your website, guys. It's time to redo your website. It's time to see how you can take payments electronically. It's also that time if your people need to see you in person. I mean, you can do Zoom for a couple of minutes for free, but you do get the full benefit when you pay it. So a lot of people are paying Zoom, a lot of people are paying marketing, a lot of people are just paying for Facebook ads, YouTube ads. I mean, electronic is right now the thing. Like, we're always on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat. I mean, who's now not on TikTok? Like, TikTok now is a thing. So I would really recommend that if you're looking into investing in marketing, don't use all your money. Don't go on fumes and then come to an Axion when you don't have any money. Come to Axion whenever you are trying to plan for the future. You need to plan for the future, and either businesses have to adjust on having to put screens on whenever they're charging, those plastic transparent screens. Yes, so please come to us right now that you're not in trouble, so we can help you and you guys can plan your budget for next year, and you already have this money, because we don't know where we're going to be at tomorrow. So
perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. And I think that's just a great way to go into our next presentation with Juan and Irvin, to talk about ways that you can kind of maximize the automating of your business, different things, different tools that the bank has. So I will throw it to you guys. I think we can hear you.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. We have to dial in.
Yeah, no
and
worries.
I'm Juan.
We can hear you great.
Perfect. And I'm one of the team leads for the bank on the treasury management sales side. I'm going to actually share this slide here really quick. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so, and then this is Irvin here as well, and he is one of our treasury management associates. He's part of my team, and together we provide our clients with solutions on, automation of processes or cash flow. We also provide them, of course, with different solutions to mitigate fraud or risk. And then also solutions to reduce costs, right? That's very important, I think, especially during these times where it's really uncertain what's going to happen tomorrow with our businesses. So I'm going to let Irvin kind of go through some of the key points, and then I'll kind of jump in and talk a little bit more in detail on some of the other items.
Hi, guys, and thank you, everybody, for joining the call. So here at Pacific Premier, so we have treasury management solutions that we offer. So Pacific Premier provides our clients with access to a full range of treasury management solutions. And our holistic approach allows us to offer competitive pricing and innovative technology. A couple key points where Juan will go into more detail. A couple of things is automation. You'll be able to see your daily cash flow and customized reporting with our online system. You can reduce check payments, basically sending out checks, and transition over through electronic transactions and methods that we offer. Also balance reporting. Another key note, cost reduction. You can reduce all your banks that you have and just have it in all one bank. Improve your ability of funds and information reporting, and just maximize your earnings that you're getting with your funds that you're carrying at the bank here. Another key feature is fraud and risk management. We offer dual control, where if you have multiple individuals in the business that you want one person to submit something for you and somebody else to approve it, we can offer that. It's called dual control. We offer check positive pay for any checks that are outstanding, and you want to prevent fraud, that somebody might pick up cash and it's not a legitimate item. Also, for any electronic items, ACH positive pay, we also offer that. And Juan will go into more detail of how those stuff works and how it manages it.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Irvin. Appreciate that. So now let's talk a little bit about some of the things that most small businesses could probably benefit from. And some of them, I'll go into detail on the payables and receivables. So what are payables? Payables are basically methods that the companies or businesses use to be able to pay their invoices, to pay their vendors, to process payroll. So with technology being so advanced right now in the banking industry, we no longer see too many checks anymore for a couple of reasons. One, it's very costly. You have to purchase check stock. You also have to have someone print the check. You have to have someone sign the check. You have to pay for the postage. So that's kind of been a thing of the past. And now, more importantly, we are able to process payments basically real time almost. So one of the most common payable solution is our Ach Origination, where you can pay a vendor electronically with ACH, or you can pay your employees as well through ACH, reducing, of course, the cost and the timing as well. We also offer bill payments, so that's something that's somewhat important. That way you don't have to have someone sit there and write checks. You can go through your bill payment service, initiate the payments on a recurring basis, on a one-time basis as well, and that goes through electronically for processing. Now, receivables, those are some of the items that you would use to collect money, right? So this is your cash flow. This impacts your cash flow tremendously. So how can we get money paid to your company or to your business faster? Again, electronic methods. So we have ACH as well. We have mobile deposits where you can deposit the check through your mobile app. We also offer remote deposit capture services where we install a machine at your office. If you collect a high volume of checks, you just process them directly to the bank, giving you immediate or next day availability of the funds. And then, of course, merchant services. There's a couple of different ways that you can collect money besides check and ACH, and that's through a credit card. So if your business does businesses internationally or domestic, you can use any of these methods to collect your money faster. Automation and reporting. One of the focuses that we have here when we do talk to a business is how do we provide you with the information rapidly, right? Right now, everyone wants the information quick and easy. So we have a couple of different solutions for that, and that would be through our account Recon services, right? Where a client can go into our online banking system and generate any type of report. They can generate a report where it gives you the information on anything that has debited the account or anything that has credited the account or all the activity or balances. So we can customize reports now to basically meet our clients' needs. We offer business online banking as well, where you can make payments through the online banking portal. You can pull reports, you can pull data, you can pull images of checks. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for everyone to do their business. And for those clients on the go, where you're not always in front of a computer, we offer mobile banking. So you can actually look at transactions as well on your mobile device and make payments and process approvals, for example, for ACH or wires. We also provide our clients with e-statements, so that way you don't have to wait for the statements to come in the mail. You get the statements available next day after they cut off. So let's say the cutoff period is the 31st or the end of the month. On the 1st, then you'll receive the statements electronically to your inbox versus waiting 3 to 5 business days for the statements to show up in the mail. And lastly, fraud prevention. That's really important right now. As you guys know, with the whole pandemic and things changing, there's a lot of fraudsters on the lookout now and trying to make a buck. And we have a couple of different tools that have been very effective with mitigating that potential fraud. So one of them is Positive Pay, and I think Urban mentioned that just a second ago. And we offer a couple of different types of Positive Pay. So check Positive Pay and then ACH Positive Pay. And basically what that means is that the bank will review the information that you as a client has provided us before we make a payment. So you basically send us a check register for check Positive Pay. We verify that the check amount, the check issue date, the check number, and the payee information matches the check, and then the payment gets processed. However, if one of those criteria does not match, then the item becomes an exception, giving you the ability to make a decision to pay or return the item the next day. So our clients have until 11:30 a.m. the next business day to make a decision to pay or return. And similar to that, we have the ACH Positive Pay service, where we create essentially a filter of companies that you're authorizing to debit your account. So let's just say, for example, you have your your Southern California Edison bill coming through electronically through ACH, and you know that company and it's a trusted vendor, so you add it to your list of authorized companies. We verify that company is on that list, and then we verify the limits. So you can set specific limits for each company individually. If you set a limit of $100, for example, that's the maximum they can take from your account. However, if they process a transaction that's $101, then that'll become an exception as well, giving you the ability to make a decision the next day if you want to pay or return that item. And these, again, are some of the tools that we offer. We offer about 50 other services, but we thought that these would be the ones that would be more convenient or better assist small businesses in our communities. So is there any questions for us? I think we have some time, so I can definitely answer questions on either services or banking in general, we're more than happy to address those.
Yeah, if people want to put questions in the chat, I can definitely ask them. For any of our presenters today, they're all still on the call. Could you tell us, Juan, a little bit about how you typically work with your clients? Do you work through like the business banking side? If they already have a business banker, do they have to have a business bank account to work with Pacific Premier? How do you typically work with your clients in that sense?
So yes, we do have, so we don't assign a specific business banker for the relationship. It just depends on the size of the relationship, right? For small business, all of those accounts are handled most likely at the branch level. However, we do tend to take our time with our clients. So even if it's a startup or if it's a company that's been in existence for many years, we like to sit down with our clients and basically go over their processes, where they stand right now, what is it that the company is going to look like in the next 6 to 12 months. And with that, we position them for success, right? So we want to make sure that we set up all the services that they need and they can benefit from at the lowest cost possible. So we do take a consultative approach. We're not here to nickel and dime our clients. We're here to build their relationship and expand it and grow as the client grows as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, we have a couple of questions in the chat. What are the business bank account monthly fees? And do you have a no monthly fee business bank account?
Yeah, so for the most part, we do have a couple of different business accounts that are structured depending on your volumes. And these accounts actually have the ability to waive the monthly service fee, maintaining a minimum balance. And I think our minimum or our lowest one, I think it's about $1,500. So as long as you maintain $1,500, then we provide you with the transactions that are listed on there for free or no charge. You guys can take a look at, if you go to ppbi.com, there is a section there under products. If you click on business, it'll pull up the information for the account types that we have available. Or you guys also have our information there in front. I think, let me expand. Can you guys see it okay?
Yeah, you might want to make it a little bit larger, and I'll also send it out afterwards as well too. And if somebody is maybe not located close to a PPBI branch, can they still be a customer, or do you have any recommendations if they want to go to the branch on the corner? What kinds of questions should they be asking when they're looking at treasury management services?
So yes, the answer is yes. We have a lot of companies that we bank that are not in California or not in the states where we're located. And the beauty of that is that electronic banking, like that's just the future, right, of banking or business in general. So we provide our clients with all the tools necessary to make their deposits, for example. So ACH, the ability to send out wires or receive wires, the ability to process payments through our mobile device, for example, with the checks, or process bill payments through that. So everything is more electronic now. The only challenge that we have sometimes is if there's cash involved and you're a business that has a heavy cash load. It's not really a challenge, but what we would do in that case would partner with one of our vendors, our armored truck services, for example, or smart safe providers, where they can install a safe in your business, and then basically all the bills that are fed into the safe at the end of the business day, they send us a file with how much money was deposited, and then we give you the credit as a client. So you don't have to wait until we pick up the cash. So we'll pick up the cash once a week, for example, but the credit goes through immediately. So there's a couple of different solutions. Cash in transit, which is a truck that comes to pick up the actual cash from your business location, or courier. If you only have, let's say, $1,000 to deposit in cash, then we can have a courier pick up the cash as well.
Great. And then could you speak a little bit about more just general banking? If somebody, maybe they, they're starting their business and they have maybe an Axion loan, they're not quite ready for financing from a bank yet. Why is it important for somebody to have a good relationship with their banker or with their bank, their treasury management representative? Why is that important for a business?
So it's absolutely important because of the relationship. So I think as banks kind of go through the process of doing financing, for example, for a commercial building or for equipment financing, we don't only look at the numbers, right? I think the deposits and the relationship that a client business has with their bank kind of plays into that as well. Only because we would understand the business a little bit better, and then we actually see the transactions coming through the account, so we know how much is coming really through receivables and how much is going out as payables. So I think it's important to start and build that relationship, whether it's with Pacific Premier Bank or with any other bank. It's always good to start from the beginning.
Yeah, I think especially too, after this whole COVID situation, how should businesses explain how they've dealt with the COVID situation? Should they have a plan that they tell their banker about? Should they be talking to them regularly if they're experiencing hardships? What do you recommend during challenging times like COVID, like we're in right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now is a key time to be open and have that communication with the relationship manager, for example, or the bankers. That way we understand kind of where your company stands or your business stands, and what is your cash position, and what does your future look like, right? Right now there's a lot of uncertainty, but I think the better you're able to provide us with a picture of what you're doing to kind of go through these hard times, then the easier it'll be. Like next year, for example, if there's a loan you want to apply for, then we understand where your business was and where it's going. So information and having that open communication is very important, I think, during these times.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much. If there's any last minute questions, please put them in the chat. We're nearing 11:30. So I have a couple links that I want to share, which I think will stop your screen sharing here. So I just want to end with thanking Pacific Premier Bank for helping organize this webinar. Thank you to Juan and Irvin for your wonderful presentation. To Larissa at Axion for explaining to us what the different products that Axion and services that Axion has. And also to Rich for all the wonderful tips about SEO. I will be sending out this presentation tomorrow. It'll be a YouTube link that you can watch. And then here's a couple links how you can get connected with Axion, socal.axion.org/connect. That actually has a form, and we can connect you with a local business development officer. Even if you're outside of Axion service area, we can connect you with someone or refer you out to someone who can help you in your business. And then as Larissa was sharing before, our COVID-19 resource page that I update, I put different grant opportunities, programs, all sorts of great resources and articles. So please visit those pages. So I'll send the recording, a short survey. Please let us know what you'd like to see in a future webinar, and let us know what you think about this webinar. And we just want to thank you. You guys are taking the step to invest in your business, gain knowledge, and we just really appreciate you all for being here. So thank you so much, and thank you, Pacific Premier Bank.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.